Hello, hello. Good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Joseph Adeleke, and I'm a teens coach, a filmmaker, a storyteller, a writer, and every Wednesday, like today, I'm always coming online to speak and talk about how parents and their kids can have beautiful relationships together. And it is always an exciting time, always an interesting time for me to share what I believe can be of help to parents that are interested in helping their kids build confidence and productivity, because that is what I am interested in. I believe that once we have productive teenagers, we have productive young people around, we have confident people around, we have people that are sound and intelligent, people that are thinking, are doing something productive with their lives, then we would have a saner environment. We have people with healthy mindsets, we have a saner environment. And it is on under this mission, or under this vision, that the camera is me was also created, and it's what I live for. Is what I believe I'm sent to do on earth, and I want everybody to take it as a task to impact lives, such that small unit you find yourself, your teenage child, your teenage daughter, be that inspiration that that child need. Last week we discussed dating for teens, and this week something else is coming up, and it's something I feel that every parent need to pay attention to. I was saying, watching this what's it called, Spider-Man. I was watching Spider-Man. That's the animation, and I think the recent one they just did. And I saw the relationship between the father and the mother of the Black Spider-Man. The father and mother and of the Black Spider-Man with the Spider-Man himself, Miles Morales, or what is his name. So, and the relationship is something that I know exists um, among parents and their kids, and they don't really pay attention to it. And it took a whole lot of struggle before the characters in the movie also recognized that this is the problem they're having with their kids, and they started adjusting. And today I'll be talking about true reasons why children feel like strangers to their parents when they become teenagers. True reasons, true reasons why most children feel like strangers to their parents when they become teenagers. Usually, when a child is growing up as a baby, maybe he or she will be closer to the father or the mother. There's this bond among these three people, and they don't really notice anything until the child starts growing into a matured age, where he or she can now think, okay, where he or she can now think for him or herself, where he or she can make decisions. And these stages, or this stage rather, is a position, or is a time in this child life that most parents do not really. So this stage is a time in this child life that most parents do not come to terms with. And I wrote three things that make this relationship go sour. And the first reasons I first Okay, sorry about that. I think the network was quite bad before. So, like I was saying, parents don't take to cognizance these things, and I will be sharing them. Just three reasons why most children feel like strangers to their parents when they are becoming a teenager. And one of the reasons that I wrote here is most parents don't grow with their children. They fail to recognize they fail to recognize the physical changes they, they see. They fail to recognize it. So it's one thing for you to know that this child is growing taller. It's one thing for you to know that this child is growing muscular, and this child is not probably playing with sand or playing with toys anymore. This child is not freaked out um, about toys anymore. So parents tend to ignore the physical changes that the child reveals, or that is being revealed in the child as he or she grows. They fail to grow with this child, and this can become imbalance. It would not be balanced, and because of this, they will not treat this child the way they ought to. Now they see this person that is growing muscular, is as a lady he or she is growing with as a lady she is growing with a breast or something, and she is not that way anymore. She's probably already having started having, they fail to recognize these physical changes, this physical attribute that starts to come with this child's growth. And that can hinder the communication, that can hinder, that can destroy or start to tamper with the relationship that is very, very important. It's very, very, very important for parents to recognize these physical changes. Another thing that I would like to state is most parents ignore the mental changes. Now, there's a physical change, there's a mental change. There's this particular kind of conversation that you have with a child. Most parents maintain that kind of conversation with a teenager. So your child is probably 5, 6, 7. There's this kind of play, there's this kind of games that you guys play together. And once this child is becoming a teenager, there would be a form of changes. And parents fail to recognize this. There are mental changes in a child that parents seem to disregard. And the conversation they tend to have with this child and the one that the child wants to have with them do not match. They do not meet at the same point. So it is very, very, very important for parents to recognize both the physical changes. Do you understand? They grow with this child, they meet at a point. They don't just let this child keep maturing while they still see the child as a child. And so I've heard I've heard many parents say that whether their child is 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, the child is still a child. Yes, the child is your child, but the child is not a child. So I think that knowledge needs to be passed across. That knowledge needs to be spoken about. That knowledge needs to be understood properly. That though this child is your child, but because he or she is now becoming a growing adult, he or she is now becoming a growing youth, that child is not a child. And he or she needs to be addressed as a youth, he or she needs to be addressed as an adult, depending on the level of intelligence or how this child can maintain an intelligent conversation. So Recognize the mental changes in your child, recognize the physical changes. And one other thing that I stated here is most parents are judgmental. Most parents are judgmental. Some kids want to share what they feel. Some kids want to express themselves to their parents, and they have tried to engage their parents in small discussions, small gist, but these parents judge them and compare them with their peers, and use negative words to them, and this can affect them. And they will just feel that if I tell mommy this, she would um, react this way. If I tell daddy this, he will react this way. Then they just see the parent as being judgmental. So that is very important. Parents need to recognize that most times the changes that seem bad in terms of the relationship that they have with their kids is because of probably how they have treated the conversation these children have brought to their table before, and they need to look at how they can make adjustments to that. And I wrote out solutions to these things. What are the solutions to recognizing uh, uh, what are the solutions to recognizing whether or not this child is growing or this child is becoming matured and I need to listen properly? Is to start paying attention. You need to start paying attention to the physical changes. You need to start recognize, pay attention to it, pay attention to the physical changes in your child, and know how to engage your child as the child grows. Also, another thing I wrote here is for you to gradually change your conversation with your child. So once upon a time, you used to talk to your child as a child. Then, as this child is growing, start changing the pattern of your conversation. Talk to this child as you would talk to a youth. Talk to this child as you would talk to a young adult. Talk to this child as you would talk to a grown up, someone that has a matured mindset. You need to start looking at things that way. You need to start looking at things that way. And the last and not the least is what is it called? Being a prejudice. Avoid being having the mindset of a prejudice, having this kind of prejudging your child. Avoid prejudging your child before even knowing why he or she took some drastic decision. Understand the child properly. Understand why the child behaved, why he or she understand why your child behaved the way he or she does. And under that, you need to be able to do that, you need to correct your child with love. Speak in love. Correct your child with love. This alone will help you build a cordial relationship with your child. It is very important. It's very important for you as a parent to look into things like this. And if you do these things, your relationship with your child will change. It will change for good. And I hope that whether you listen to this as a replay, whether you listen to this now, you get to make these changes. You get to make these changes and build quality relationship with your child. I am definitely rooting for you. So let me just go back to what I said before. Three things that affect the relationship with your child is most parents don't really pay attention to the growth of their child, the physical changes. Another thing is most parents don't pay attention to the mental changes. The last one is parents tend to be prejudiced. They tend to prejudge a child They tend to judge the child before he or she has concluded on what he or she is saying. So the solution, of course, the first thing is to pay attention to the physical changes, pay attention to everything that is happening to your child, and grow with that child, with that particular stage that the person is. Grow, speak to that person at that level, communicate at that level. Pay attention to the mental changes. How does this person talk? How does this person think? Do you understand? That way, when you start having intelligent conversation with your children, they start thinking smart, they start thinking better. And avoid the mindset of a prejudice, or avoid being prejudged, prejudging your child. Avoid being prejudging your child. Avoid that by all means. Avoid that by all means. Speak in love, correct in love, and this would improve your relationship with your child. I hope this very short broadcast is very useful to you. Please, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you are going to be watching this as a replay on YouTube. Thank you. Till I come your way next time. Remember that I'm interested in seeing you become a better person, interested in becoming a better parent as I work on myself too. Thank you. God bless.